4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, everybody. Wednesday afternoon here at Dog is Good. I know you guys are at work, some of you, and some of you are at home baking and frantically cleaning your homes. And, excuse me. Others of you are probably not able to see this because you're out frantically shopping for those gifts for all the loved ones and friends in your life. And it's like the happiest time of the year, and also the most, for some, the most stressful, crazy time of the year too. So if you are popping in sporadically, welcome, welcome. My name is Gila Kurtz. I am one of the co-founders and co-owners of Dog is Good. And we have a great guest today. We're going to have a conversation around relieving stress this time of year, not just for our pets, but for ourselves as well, because it's just like all intertwined, and your pets are probably stressed because you're stressed, and so they pick up on all of that with you. And I, of course, am going to invite you to, or encourage you to invite your friends to join in and share. And then, you know how we like to do this. We like to get to know you. So feel free to please pop in your name and where you're from and what's going on and maybe what you're doing for the holidays. Just love to know who's on here while we're sharing. And as you're getting ready to do that, I will remind you that we always have a giveaway. It's like, you know, we're gift giving all year long. So today for our show, you are going to get the opportunity to enter to win a I like big mutts and I cannot lie tote bag. This is so beautiful too, I must say. I know, this is awesome. I love this too. And then a desk topper, I like big mutts and I cannot lie plaque. So click on the link to enter to win. And as we always do, we announce the winners in our private lifestyle group. So you need to join the private Dog is Good lifestyle group. It's a private group. And we'd love to see you in it, where we do a lot of fun things. So hi, Dawn and Geralynn. This is from Dawn Taylor in Florida. She's saying hello to both of us. Welcome. And I think you may have gotten your gifts or your goodies from our Facebook party that we had last week, which seems like such a blur. I totally feel like that's already like long gone, long history. How the time goes. And Denise is on. Yay, Denise. Welcome. Thank you for the compliment. You're so sweet. Okay, today, I'm going to give you guys a chance to have a few more people pop in. Let us know who you are and where you're from. I know you guys are busy this week, so I'm really grateful that you're just taking some time out to talk with us on some important stuff for both ends of the leash, as I like to say. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm really excited to talk to Geralynn. She is a wealth of information and just has a tremendous amount of expertise around dogs, around lifestyle, and she's just so energetic and fun to talk with. So some really good conversation going to happen today. And as we always do, we want to encourage you to put in your questions or comments or share things that are working for you that might be helpful for other people as you're watching the show. So Geralynn, I want to introduce to you, Miss Geralynn. Can you pronounce your last name for me? I don't think I've ever said your last name.
It's pronounced Cada, like Prada.
Prada, okay.
Cada. It's actually a Czech name that's somewhere along the line lost the slash above the C.
Okay.
That was how you were supposed to know that it has a ch sound. So I always, it's kind of a safety thing for me, because I know if someone's a telemarketer, if they say Cada or Cada, I know they don't know who I am. If someone comes running at me and says Geralynn Cada, then I know they know who I am.
At least that's your last name. Try going through life with my name as always being butchered. I love it. My confidence. It was always butchered and teased as a kid.
Mine was too, so I think I go by G most of the time. At least that's what dogs know me as.
Awesome. Hi, Carly, from jumping in. Oh, I used to hang out in Hopewell, Virginia. My college roommate lived there. So cute little town in Virginia outside of Richmond.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm digressing. Let me introduce the beautiful Geralynn. She is a pet style of life expert, certified professional dog trainer, author, TV and radio personality, spokesperson, and of course, an animal lover who loves to share her stories and experiences. She was raised on a farm in Nebraska, And through that, of course, was born with a love for animals of all kinds, but most especially fell in love with canines and felines at the age of 9. Geralynn has trained all over the world, and she says, you may be utilizing one of my designs with your pet right now. She's excited to share years of experiences to create the best pet lifestyle for you. So we could go on and on about all of the things that Geralynn has done, but suffice it to say, she has a tremendous background in professional training and also in lifestyle information as well. So welcome, Geralynn. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, if people have other things they'd like to suggest, please keep any remedies or whatever we talk about today coming. I'd love to hear what everyone has to say. But first of all, thank you, Gila, because regardless of if they pronounce your name right or wrong, it's a beautiful name and you're a beautiful soul. I love what you do as well.
Thank you.
And I absolutely love Dog is Good. The line is so fun and it has such a voice. It speaks such a tremendous, in such a way that it actually helps change people. So I love that. That's what the world needs.
Well, thank you. That's very heart-centered, and that hits home for me, so I appreciate the kind compliments there, Geralynn. It's really nice. All right, so let's just dive on in, and before we do, I just want to also say hello to some other guests that are popping in, and Destin, Florida is so gorgeous. For those of you who pop into the Panhandle, Florida.
I love Destin.
I used to live in Panama City Beach. Really pretty down that area. Okay. Let's talk about things, because the past couple weeks, and Geralynn and I were just briefly chatting before we went live here about holiday season. And I don't know if it's just me. You guys let me know if you're experiencing this too. But I swear, I feel like in the past 5 years, it's become more stressful. Like it's become a lot of pressure, just so much going on, both for your pets, for work, for personal life. And I just noticed people around me exhibiting more stress. They're more tired during a time that's supposed to be happy and fun. And then I kind of worry about the pets in their lives too, because they're so stressed out and there's so much change that happens in the course of this month. So I thought we'd just take a second to address that. Do you notice that yourself as well, or is it just me?
It's so true, Gila. Sadly, it's not just the holidays anymore. It's all year round. I'm finding it. It's things are just stacking one on top of the other, and people feel so overwhelmed, and they don't stop. And there's no self-care. There's no taking the right time off. They are pushing and shoving too much, or there's too much going on in their life that's kind of short-circuiting their energy or their vibe, and that, yes, affects their dog. And so it's finding the way to train yourself that you don't like the way that feels. You train yourself into a different way of feeling so that you save the dog. If nothing, you save yourself and you save the dog with that great vibe as opposed to that other vibe. And yes, I'm noticing too much of it, and it saddens me greatly because it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point, and you're right. I noticed that it's becoming a year-round thing too. I think a lot of it is relates to technology, or just this constant need to be doing and going all the time, or one's inability to say no. But let's talk about something for a second. First, for oneself during the holiday season, especially. I mean, ideally it's all year round, but especially this time of year. What is missing in self-care for people this time of year? What do you feel like they are not doing?
I'm going to say some things today to relate in both the human way and the dog way, so that people can relate to not only what their dog's going through, but what they're going through as well. So an example, most dogs don't sleep all night long. They really sleep with one eye open, and it's because they're not given that safe little cave to back into and sleep in. And the adult, or the human, I'll call it the pet parent right now, is not sleeping as well either. They're not shutting their brain off, taking themselves off duty, stopping and enjoying what's going on right now. They're too busy thinking about what happened yesterday or an hour ago, or what they have to do tomorrow that's sucking out all their energy. So focusing on now, and then actually making some kind of bedtime ritual so that you sleep, and the dog has a place to go sleep as well, so that you don't, you give yourself that break. A lot of people don't give themselves a break. They don't let the bed hold them up, is what I like to say. They fight sleep, and so the dog fights sleep, and nobody can live without sleep. I mean, I don't think, yeah.
That is such a good point. I think I love that you started with that, because sleep is one of the most critical ingredients to self-care. Without the proper amount of sleep, our brains literally just don't function on optimum. And of course, it leaves us wide open for reactivity to the stress that's going on in our lives, or just not the best process. So having a really good routine in the evening and taking that time to shut down. One of the things that I hear so much, it's becoming more prevalent, is that word being mindful, being present. And I think about that a lot, because, and I want to say, at least for me, I understand how difficult that can be, in that our brains, they often are operating back and forth between what just happened. What's that?
Jazz brain.
You have to almost consciously just go, okay, what is going on right now around me, and how can I literally be present and truly, truly enjoy this moment? And that goes, okay, so going back to your bedtime ritual, what do you recommend as a way to start winding down the day and allow your dogs also the opportunity to decompress, as well as, I understand providing them with a safe place to rest at night, but what if they're sleeping with you in your bed? I mean, I don't know anybody personally who does that.
I don't either. I know what you're talking.
I don't think I can fit out my dog in my bed.
And just to set the record straight, yes, I do have my nights where dogs sleep in bed with me, but I do have nights where they sleep in their crate. Mm-hmm. And I get them on a routine, because when I travel and I'm out of town, they're not going to be with me most of the times unless I have to take one. So I create a safe place that they feel okay in, to help take some of the anxiety away when I'm not there. Because I don't want to train separation anxiety into a dog, especially one that already has anxiety because I'm not there.
Very true. Hi, Sue from North Carolina. Here. Okay, so let's talk about a ritual. Take us through a simple process that would help us decompress at the end of the day. Maybe like 2 or 3 things that we should be doing and commit to, guys. And it's a habit, right? Anything we choose to do, we have to choose to turn it into a habit. Believe me, I'm doing that.
And set yourself up for success in that habit. Yes. So I'll give
the dog decompress, as well as you, and some simple things you can set up as a routine. Also, it's just a nice ritual and tradition you can do with your pet every evening.
Right. So I do for I like to schedule my dogs around my schedule, so I know when my free time is and when I can dedicate that time. And I also, in that time with my dogs, dedicate a small amount of time, at least 6 nights a week, to going into my cave go into my cave with me, where I go read, and I try not to make that be computer time, but if it has to be computer time, it's okay. And if it has to be a little work time, I'd rather it not. I try to make that reading time for either relaxation or something that takes me away from whatever I did that day, just to change my vibe. Because that place is sacred. So you create a sacred space for yourself and your dog that's your kind of decompression zone. But in that space, you create an even smaller decompression zone for your dog. An example is this little dog bed I have I'm sitting behind me that I use. It's actually a little mini mouse bed, but it's like a cave. So I don't have a full crate up in my sitting room, but I have a little cave that can go into and take a nap in. They'll kind of start calming down. If they're still a little not relaxed or not relaxing, I'll do a yoga pose with them, which I call a doggy savasana. Savasanas are difficult for people to do. If you look up the pose, it's a yoga pose you do where you lay on your back and you stare at the ceiling and you breathe from your abdomen and you really try to think of nothing and you let your arms and your legs go. But everyone, if you look around the yoga room, is fidgeting and they can't hold still, and they're all like, no one can just let go and not have an itch or not have unless so it's tough on them. So dogs are the same way. We actually have to train ourselves into being calm. I think calm becomes a trained trait. It's not something you're just always born with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. So in yoga, they train you in that savasana to be calm and to be self-contained. So I do the same thing with dogs. I'll put a dog on its back on my lap. Like right now I have little Beasley, who we'll talk a little bit more about later, but I'm just going to lay him, because he's a puppy, I'm going to lay him on his back on my arm, where he's very vulnerable. I mean, everything about him is exposed. But look at his head. He's just like, okay, I trust you. I understand. And then he knows now that it's time for him to kind of zone out and just relax and do that letting go part and just breathe. And I'll even breathe into their face when I first do this with them, because I want them to take some good, big, deep breaths. We don't take as many breaths as we should every day. I think a lot of people hold their breath too, so you're not getting the oxygen. So if you have that room that's like that sacred place where you can go and decompress, even if it's for 20 minutes, and only 20 minutes, it could even be a 20-minute meditation time that you have, and you actually have your dog lay there and meditate with you. And it's amazing what that 20 minutes will do.
No, I totally agree. Now, I know some of you who are watching might think, like, 20 minutes? Are you kidding me? Like, I can barely get 5 minutes myself. This is, I want to share one strategy that I did around that to get my place to a place of calm, to get my head into a place of calmness. And that was just to start literally in 1-minute increments. And I like to do that also, what you described. I didn't know that there was a name to it, but Bolo does like to lay down on her back, and I like to sit on the floor and
yes.
just being able to like rub her belly. And
yes.
in heaven with her little head back. That begins to center me and to be calm. And we do that in the evening, kind of right before we do go up to bed, just because she's just laying there, and then I want to get down on the floor and pet her in that way. But I want to challenge you guys to do this and make a commitment to just look at the way your day is going, and in the evening, instead of just like finishing everything up and then going up to bed, take 2 minutes as a starting point to just literally just sit with your dog for a second and just start breathing, just start watching them relax, and watch yourself relax along the way. All right,
absolutely. So breathe
and breathe. Self-care number 1 is improving your nighttime routine, which affects the next day, right? How you. So what else can we be doing for self-care for us, and have it translate to our pets?
So pets need to see us nourish ourselves before we nourish them. It's an important aspect in their innate brain that the one that is the strongest strengthens themselves with nourishment in order for them to protect the rest of the pack while they're eating. And a lot of people don't understand that this translates to, if you're not going to eat, you're going to have to fake eat. But why aren't you eating? You should be taking in some kind of vegetable nutrition in the morning. Something. Fruit, something. So why aren't you? Are you just a coffee drinker? Okay, we can figure out your nutrition aspect later. But right now, your dog needs to see you nourish yourself. I remember being a time in my life when a new rescue dog came into my life, and she would not eat until I ate. That dog would have gone anorexic on me. I could fake eat all I wanted, and she'd just laugh and turn her head. So, and go, I'm not eating till you eat. So she actually knew I wasn't nourishing myself. What a gift she was to me. So your dog is actually there as a gift for you to pay attention to how you nourish yourself and what you're doing and when.
Yeah, like what if your dog does get some? I'll tell you, Bolo ate my salad today.
Hey, my dog's, if I can't leave sushi around her, it's history. They'll scale 10, 14-foot cliffs for sushi.
I was carrying it around with me all day to protect it, and one second turned head, and that was it. All right, I love, Sue was talking about T-touch. I don't know if you know anything about that, but actually
T-touch is fantastic, which is something I recommend to do while you do the Savasana. And on top of T-touch, I do a shiatsu facial, which is just T-touch around their skull or areas they can't reach. Dogs can't effectively scratch their ears, nor can they under their chin. It's very delicate, or can they in between their eyes. So that in their mouth, they use their jaws for a lot of their emotion and showing you their facial feet or their facial communication. So rubbing all around their face, I call them jello after you do.
Gosh, that must feel so good to them. You guys, tonight I want every one of you to do a shiatsu facial massage. Is there a particular technique for their dog?
I go through pressure points just like people, but I just slowly give them a tiny amount of pressure. If you notice, as I start rubbing his eyes, his little paws just go thunk. And I just give him a little tiny bit of pressure in between his eyes, not much. And I don't think it's all about pressure. I just think it's about touching in that area. It's an area that's neglected on them on a pretty regular basis unless we slow down and take the time to actually work on those muscles.
That is a must do. I can see where that would be incredibly relaxing for a dog. Okay.
Especially him being a therapy dog, it's something he has to learn at a young age because it's his job then to relax someone else with anxiety. Instead of taking on their anxiety, he has to give to them calm.
Right.
He has to gift calm, so he has to be trained to be calm.
Right. I love that, gifting calm. And our dogs do give that to us pretty much on a daily basis, unless they have other issues going on, right? But we owe that to them as well, as to be in to try our best, to try to stay in a particular state or be cognizant of when we're out of that state, and find ways to get ourselves back in. When you talk about nutrition, I'm going to share with you guys a couple thoughts. And I encourage you to do your own research. But one of the things that I feel most people walk around dehydrated all day long. And to launch into the day with just a glass of water, or slightly warm, maybe, and with lemon in it, it provides such a great cleanse of the toxins in your body. And it is amazing, literally just that, the amount of energy that you can begin to feel just simply from hydrating yourself after a good night's sleep.
The greatest gift I ever was given was living in dog training in Las Vegas for all of those years, because it's so dry there that I would have to get up in the morning and I'd have a gallon of distilled water next to my bed and lemon, and I would drink as much of that as I could before I would have to go out and train, because I would just be fatigued, and the dog could smell that I was not feeling well. So how is he going to respond to what he thinks is a weak pack member? So I was forced into the water as self-care. And yes, warm is preferred, or just regular room temperature for me, and lemon is amazing. And I would just feel so awful if I didn't do that. So because we don't have that baseline, unless you live in a desert for a while, you don't know what it likes to feel dehydrated. So you sometimes think you're hungry when you're really thirsty, or you just don't know, you're not quite reading your body yet well enough. And oh my goodness gracious, greatest gift ever. I drink water like a fish.
Right. Yeah. And you have gorgeous skin too, by the way. So drinking water also helps with skin, by the way.
Oh yes. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So what about our dogs too, though? Maintaining their water level too.
So I trick my dogs into drinking more water, and I use a lot of trick training. Maybe I need to come up with a better word. I don't think my husband likes when I use trick training, because he thinks I'm going to trick and train him into doing something.
Of how we get our husbands to do what we do.
Right, exactly.
Guide to the perfect marriage. Implement.
And so I will take crushed ice, and I'll put crushed ice in with their food, so that they will be, when they're eating, they will actually be eating some ice, little tiny pieces of ice cubes, so extra hydration helps when they eat, especially if they're eating dry food, because dry food dehydrates your body. Sorry about that.
We can talk about it in a second. Yeah.
Eating dry food dehydrates your body, and having that extra water actually helps your digestive system. So you're taking in a little bit of that ice cube along with and it's just little chips of it, so it's okay for them to chew it up and swallow it.
What is your thought on adding a couple drops, even for a dog that has no anxiety or apparent anxiety, of some of the flower essences into the water to just enhance, not enhance, but to provide calming as well as encourage them to drink more?
Well, I love what essences do for people. It's incredible. And I know that some of that translates to a dog, but I will make a note or put a little asterisk there that says, if your dog's stressed out all the time and you give it lavender all the time, it may not totally take the anxiety away. It actually has to be calm when you give the lavender to him or her. Try to work on the calming techniques along with that. Don't just give the lavender and think, oh, he's or she are just going to calm down instantly. So training them and actually giving that lavender around them will help like bolster that whole scenario. There's no magic bullet is what I'm trying to say. I do believe that those things help. I do believe that it helps even more when you train them, give them those things the very first few times you give them, because they are an aromatherapy too. So they're going to remember they're stressed out if you put lavender in front of them, although it will help with some, because it attaches to some of the same receptors. We don't have them instantly going to sleep or anything like that. So I think it's really a good practice to put the aromatherapy with the attitude together.
Right. No, that's a very good point. So someone mentioned early on, Dawn actually was talking about this, and this is something that I notice a lot too. I wanted to ask a question for you to address. Around the holidays, everything picks up in terms of activity. People are rushing around more, they're baking more, they're having people over, they're decorating their homes, they're just doing a gazillion things. College kids who are gone are home, or more family and friends are coming into town to visit. And the one thing for self-care that a lot of people start to, like I already noticed at the gym I go to, it's really hardly anybody there because they're all so busy and then they're too tired to get up and go or whatever their routine is. But that also means that their dogs often are not getting the same amount of exercise that they may be used to as well.
Right.
And therefore they need attention. They're seeing all this change and chaos going on and they don't understand. So how can we, what do you recommend people do to carve out that time for the exercise, and if nothing else, to step up what they're doing currently for their dog? What needs to shift in the priorities for people to put that first?
Well, I give them choices in my my handbag of tricks for them. When it comes to, I guess, the most important part of what's going on is that the people's energy is changing and they smell differently because they're having a biochemical response. So how can you keep yourself centered, plan ahead, do some as much stress-free holiday shopping and planning as you can? That really helps you relate to the dog, a better body language and a better biochemical smell and a better way to walk in your door and actually keep your sacred space and stay loyal to it. So that's important. The other aspect is you can actually go from physical exercise straight into mental exercise and get just as much relaxation out of the dog with mental exercise as you can with running them 24 miles. So there are ways I help switch, especially in areas geographically that are cold or become cold at this time. Like we should have more snow right now, but luckily we don't. Thank the universe for that. I'm able to take them on longer walks still. But when I can't, I create a mental obstacle course for them where it's an on the couch, off the couch, on the couch, off the couch, sit, lay down, roll over, sit, shake, shake, follow me in the other room, play a little hide and seek, up and down the stairs a few times. Or if there are children in the house, it'll be a game I call switcheroo, where one kid stands on one side of the house and one stands on the other, and they call the dog back and forth, and they actually feed the dog dinner during that time and make them do some tricks. And that's their meal time, and they actually help bolster the confidence in the dog for actually having a part of something going on in the house because there's so much activity. And if they're left alone, they don't feel like they're participating. They might jump into a protective mode or try to find some other job because they don't feel like they've been given their job yet. So that's an important thing, is to make meal time, which is a time you have to have with your dog anyway, and exercise, mental exercise time, and you'll be surprised at how tired your dog is.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I appreciate that you mentioned the tricks.
Yes.
Everything that we teach our dogs is a trick, in essence. But if you are focusing on tricks, and also it's fun for the whole family, that gives the dog also something that they can be doing when guests do come over. Like you can show off the little party parlor tricks, so to speak, but it gives your dog a job as well. What kind of tricks do you think are the easiest to train, and how do you recommend getting started with that if people are first looking into doing something like that?
I believe that if you can train a dog to sit and you can train it to focus on you and know its name and have a simple communication style, you can train a dog to do pretty much anything. But laying down is usually, or sometimes rolling over, can be two of the most difficult because that's exposing. A dog really has to trust you in order to learn those tricks. They have to really trust you. So the younger they are, or the more they just bonded with you, the better, obviously, in that scenario. But I like to train them, if they're very smart, to do lots of difficult things, and I break those difficult tasks down into little bites that that then they can put together. So it depends on this breed, and also it depends on how smart they are, because there are smarties in every breed. So and every rescue has a brilliant dog sitting in there waiting for somebody to find it. So I tailor those tricks to whatever it needs. In this case, with this little guy, I've trained him to do. He has a lot to say. I'm training him to do all the basics: sit, lay down, roll over, shake, speak, quiet, leave it, wait, fetch. We're also just training him to relax and just go lay down and chill out and not have to get up and play and do anything at that moment, because he's really expended a lot of his mental energy. So I kind of tailor it to the family as well. Like in this case, they have a young son. He'll be able to do tricks with her, and she'll be tired, and he'll be happy, and then he'll go chill out. They'll all go chill out together.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think a lot of people don't take advantage of mealtime as the prime opportunity to really work and engage with their pet. It also is a great relationship building opportunity because you are providing the resource that they want, and you're making it fun for them to earn along the way. I don't think also a lot of people think about all the different tricks that they could be training and doing all the time with their pets on indoor basis, but it gave me a thought as you were speaking around this being the holidays and all these gifts that we're buying. I know so many people buying gifts for their pets, and when I was in Marshall's the other day, they had some great gifts for dogs. I was picking up a gift for some of the people I work with and for their pets, and it occurred to me, like, wow, all these gifts we can give our dogs, the toys, the treats, the clothes, yada yada. And the question I asked myself today was, well, what is the gift that Bolo gives to me? And if she were to really speak in words, what would she tell me would be the best gifts for her? And I know she would say more time. Well, she might not, because I spend like all my time with her. But the dog for others might say, I just want you. That's it. I want you to spend more time with me. And so maybe it would be a good exercise to write down, if my dog were to really be asking me for the gifts, what would he or she ask for after food and treats, whatever, from me? And how can I put that into my schedule to give them the gift of just being present and interacting with my dog in different ways? In the evening when I'm tired and don't feel like it, or on the weekends when I'm busy and running around, what is the gift that I can give to them? Because they gift us every single day, right?
Right.
So is there anything else we want to add about self-care and just de-stressing anything for the pets for the holidays and for ourselves? Because I want to also talk about Beasley.
Well, just what you just said, which is I'm going to extend into the best gift you can give them is to be happy. Mm-hmm. Because they can smell that you're not. You can fake if you're not all you want, but they can smell it. So just really find how to train yourself to be genuinely happy, not a surface happy or a kind of happy, but really genuinely have that gratitude that you have these amazing things in your life. And then that's the greatest gift you can give them, really, because then they know you're providing and happy, and they trust you, and they know nothing's going to come around and get them, and they're going to be provided for, and they have all these great ways they are a part of the team. So that's a really neat gift that is so, it really is not that difficult to get to.
I love that you said that. The greatest gift we could be giving our dogs is the true sense of intrinsic joy, of being truly happy. And speaking to that, I'll just mention and tell you guys, if you guys are not on Fur Covered Wisdom yet, get on that, because that's certainly the focus of that. what we can do to fetch a life worth barking about, where we do experience joy and happiness naturally, where we feel fulfilled and have a sense of purpose that drives us with energy and enthusiasm each day. So your dog sends you that every week. I know Stephanie will pop in that link, and you can get a message from your dog weekly to help with some food for thought on how to get there. Because, let's face it, it's not always easy on a day-to-day basis. It's a work in progress, but you're right. We owe it to them. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to everybody, every human being around us. And don't get me started on this topic, because
no, you go, girl.
I'm taking the words from Dennis Prager. Happiness is a moral obligation.
It is.
It is. We have no right to inflict our unhappiness on others around us and affect them.
Especially our dogs.
Yeah. So speaking of dogs, go ahead. Did you want to add something?
So another thing too is there are companies that make great crate covers. This one is, I believe, this one is a Trusty Pup, and this one matches my pretty room. It matches my room, and I just got this one. So it's going to go over a crate to give them that little feeling that's so awesome. But another way too is chewing. Like dogs want to chew, and it helps get some of that energy out, or some of that stress out. So having a great chew, some form of chew, even if it's using, once again, their meal in a Kong or a puzzle, and that's the way you feed them, that's another way you can help start bringing them to a more relaxed state. So that's another an anxiety thing that would really help them, is a chew or some form of feeding them out of a puzzle that helps them work a little bit more if you're gone.
Any other ones that will help our dogs de-stress during the holidays?
Lots of, I think there are some really great treats out there that have amino acids in them that I love, and I wish they do make some for humans now, and you can take the amino acids that in pill form, but they do have some new chews coming out, like they have for pets now, that have like L-theanine in them. That is a calming. It's the same thing if you eat a lot of turkey and you get tired. It actually attaches to the same receptors as like benzodiazepines or Valiums, so it helps relax the dogs naturally. I'll call it takes the edge off, or helps them chill a little bit, but it doesn't hurt them, and they can't OD on them. I'm very careful. You're just wasting your money if you give them too many, so you follow the instructions on how to give them to them. But I've watched them do wonders for dogs, and I think they're great. I'm a big believer that if you're going to be going somewhere, or you're going to be stressing your dog out in some fashion, at the very least, try some of the amino acids that will help to calm them down. At the very least, like I said, it'll take some of the stress off of you, knowing that they're a little more calm and you're not making them so stir crazy. So, but I've seen those work really well.
Amino acids for just taking an edge off, calm. People can just Google that information, or do you recommend a company or product?
There are quite a few companies, so I'm not going to recommend one at this time. I'd like people to go research and make sure they know where the products are coming from. I have a tendency to buy the human grade and add that right now to different things, but for puppies, for some of the dogs that I work with. However, I have used some of the Pet Naturals brands before, and there are quite a few other new ones that have come out, and I've got some samples here to start testing. So I'll have an update for you regarding that aspect of what's new in the calming treat world soon, because I'm working with some dogs that aren't so calm.
So one other thought I had too, some people have asked around having guests there, like they have a dog that just, it's going to bark, when people come to the door, when people are around, or they have challenges with lots of people in the home. What suggestions do you have for someone who wants to host a party or family gathering who has a dog that, just isn't comfortable in those situations? How can they help them?
I think let me clarify that when people come to the door, the dogs are a little nutty around the house through the holidays, all the people coming and going. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
So I am a big fan of, once again, having that little sacred space where the dog can go to while the people come in the house and get settled, and then the dog can either be invited out later after everybody kind of comes in and gets settled, Or I teach dogs to go to a bed, and I have a bed in the living room where I'm going to socialize with all the company. But the dog learns to stay on the bed while the company comes in and actually sits down on the couch and everyone socializes, and can come off of the bed when it's asked to. And that's part of the mental obstacle course that you would do every day, teaching them a little bit every day to stay on that bed longer and longer, and ring the doorbell, which means go to the bed. You can actually, sky's the limit in the way you want to design what the reaction that you would like for your dogs to have. But I really believe that you start by separating them from the people coming in until you start slowly helping them understand where their space is, where the people's space are. If dogs are having to check everybody out, then they don't trust their owners yet, or they feel like they have to check everything out all the time. So we want to change the dogs' minds and demote them, because they are not the bouncers at the front door.
Right. And that takes time. So this is not something that, for all of you watching, these are part of the responsibilities we have as pet owners. These are things that we know we want to have to experience with our pets over the course of their life with us, having people over, etc. We have to prepare them from the get-go of what that would look like and work on that. And it is a daily process.
It is, but it's worth it, and it's really not. It's easier if you do it daily, like it's easier on you. But you'd really be surprised. It's really the way you feel that will help them respond faster. So that helps. That's what helps the most, is how you feel, and the dog's going to respond to you feeling safe and happy and trustable, and the dog's going to go, oh, I totally will follow their lead, whatever they want. So that's really an important facet of that big spark, great dog.
Let's talk about Beasley for a second before we can't. And the little guy that Geralynn is training, he came to her through an organization called FISH, F-I-S-H, Friends in the Service of Heroes, which that's going to be near and dear to my heart. I love that. So it's a 501c3 organization, and she is training Beasley to be a service dog for April Murphy, who is a military veteran. And I'll just let you, maybe if you could just share that story and what's going on and what you're seeing happening as a result of Beasley being part of April's life and her family's life.
Well, Gila, once again, I just have to take a knee every now and then for the reason of I can't believe I get to witness such miracles. So I do want to ask everyone out there watching, if you would please follow April Murphy. She has, if you can find her on Facebook. She's actually chronicling this journey with Beasley. She was sought out and awarded a therapy dog after the organization learned that she was a sexual assault survivor in the military, and she actually works in she works for the military, and so they've awarded her. FISH has awarded her this therapy dog, and I'm speechless. To be able to explain to you would not do justice. You have to actually go to her page and watch her little video diary that she posts, and watch the way the dog has just, in just the last couple of weeks, the little evolution of even Beasley, from not being able to do really anything other than sit and look cute, to be able to sit, lay down, shake, roll over, speak, leave it, and chill out right next to her when she needs it, to help with her anxiety, so that if she's feeling anxiety, he lets her know there's no reason to feel anxiety. So he's a very special little guy. He's actually a golden doodle. His father is an AKC poodle. His mother is a golden doodle, and the family has been breeding golden doodles for about 30 years. They've put quite a few golden doodles in service as service animals and therapy animals. And depending on what type of service animal I'm working with, determines if I go to a breeder and try to find a very healthy puppy, or because we obviously want that service animal or therapy dog to live as long as possible, or we go to a rescue and we find one in a rescue, or that will be surrendered from someone that we can work with. So I get them from a variety of different places, but FISH in this case honored her request of a puppy with her son, as she has a young son. So this is Beasley. He lives with me, and he goes to their house and has many sleepovers. he will be living with them full time soon, but we're going to let Beasley mature a little bit more and finish some of his crate training and potty training. He's only 9 weeks old. He already knows.
Oh, so cute.
Just got him. Haven't had him very long. Had him for a little over a week. So pretty special.
Yeah, that is. And, you know, hats off to you for taking the time to do that for this organization. There's so many wonderful organizations out there doing so many good things. But it's interesting, as you said, to witness the impact that pets have on our lives. I mean, from the dogs that we know that we deal with on a daily basis that are in our own lives, our pets that we know and love, who've we've gotten in any number of ways, whether they've been rescued, or they came from a reputable breeder, or they were former service dogs like Bolo. They come into our lives and they shift us. And to witness it as from the outsider looking in, the progress and just watching the shift in a person's life that way, that really is very, very special. I would definitely like to see what's going on with her. So if Stephanie, if you can post in the link to her Facebook, that would be great. Her name's April Murphy, right? And you have it on your website too, Geralynn?
Yes.
So what's your website? We can also go there.
It's actually on my Facebook right now. I think it was one of the last posts I made. So if they go to my Facebook page, I made a public post for us.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you can go to Geralynn, and it's CADA.
Yes, and my website is coming soon. My landing page is not up, but my new website will be coming out soon, and it's more of the tips and tricks that I'm just giving to you today, shared today. Just really fun, great, and not just inspirational, because it helps actually shine some light on some of your habits, but it also just that gift, working more towards giving that dog the gift of your joy. So, which is creating your lifestyle and living a pet lifestyle, because some of these things may not have happened to you if you may not have had a pet in your life. So it's a really neat inspiration to have.
I love it. Well, before we get ready to say goodbye, I want to ask you guys out there, do you have any questions for Geralynn, or do you want to share anything you do during this time of year to stay happy, less stressed, and any tips for any of us on what we can be doing with our own dogs to keep the stress down?
I do want to ask people to go to the Fish Facebook page as well, and to their website, and keep and watch what we do, watch the work that we do, especially on their Facebook page, because this is my second dog that I'm training for them with as a medical alert dog. This other one's a medical alert dog, and it's really amazing to watch the transformation of these veterans.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's put that into Fish, Fish, like it sounds, FISH, yes. And look up the good work that they do as for all our veterans. They focus only on veterans, right?
Yes, right? They mostly work with veterans, but they have helped. There was a gentleman who's a veteran. His daughter in a gymnastics accident became paralyzed. So and she's only 17, so they just had a fundraiser for her to help raise the money to buy her a specially equipped van so she can drive now.
Oh, that's awesome. The Facebook page, there's a couple. So first Facebook page would be for Geralynn Cada, who we just wrote in there. Second would be for April Murphy. And the third is for Fish.
Friends in the Service of Heroes.
Friends in the Service of Heroes. Okay, so go ahead.
I just saw him behind you yawning on the couch.
Oh, Bola? Yep.
We must have bored him. We bored him to tears. He's so relaxed, actually, right?
Yeah, everybody thinks Bola's a boy. She's actually a girl, but
I'm sorry. I meant she. That was my bad. Sorry, I keep calling him a girl. I've been calling Beasley a girl.
Yes, she heard her name, so now she's over here under the desk, giving me love. All right, so let's recap a few things. This is the time of year, any time of the year, where people are going to be more stressed than others. It's also the time of year where more people than not end up being depressed for a number of reasons, right? The dogs in our lives feel what is going on with us. And so it is up to us to figure out ways that will serve us best to stay stress-free or as least amount of stress during this time of year. And so what Geralynn was talking about is first and foremost, really look at your bedtime routine. Start there. Making sure that not only you are getting enough sleep, but you have those few moments prior to bed with your dog for some downtime, whether it's doing some gentle massage or some yoga poses, or I think this is going to be my favorite now because I love touching Bola's face, is just
yes, love that.
Nice little massage. It also gives you an opportunity to, to continue to build that bonding relationship with them. And more importantly, it will calm you down and get you ready for bed. And
She's going to snore.
Yeah? Yes, that is the best part. And then get plenty of sleep. Excuse me while I pick up something that Bola was trying to eat. Oh my goodness, Labby. There's no food here for you. Anyway, the second thing being hydration, really looking at your water intake, and ideally just challenge yourself. Just one glass of water with some lemon in it in the morning, you will absolutely be amazed within 2 days how different you feel. And ensuring that your pets have plenty of water too. Geralynn recommended putting in ice cubes. We talked a little bit about adding some flower essence if required, but that's really focusing on getting them calm to begin with. And then the exercise. Obviously, if you can get outside, make time to do that for yourself and for your dog. But inside is a great place where you can do all the trick training and use the feeding time to engage the dog in a number of ways that stimulate them mentally and also give you a chance to interact with them and pay attention to them, pulling you away from all the other stressors that might be on your mind. All right. I think, is there anything else? Is there anything I missed?
Oh, if you, one thing too is if you're going to give your dogs things to chew on, make sure they don't make a lot of noise so you don't drive yourself crazier. So, seriously, make sure you're very mindful when you go to Marshall's and you buy those toys. Are they going to drive you crazy?
Right. Yeah, squeakers, no.
I love the ones that are squeakers that you can't hear them.
Yeah, those are the best. And somebody wrote in there too about Marshalls and TJ Maxx, man. They rock. They have the best dog stuff. So that did remind me, making sure your dogs do have plenty of things to chew on. That is a stress reliever for them in and of itself. And then to spend time preparing them for when you do want to have guests over by giving them a place that they can go, teaching them polite greetings, and just giving them an opportunity to follow your lead and know that you're in control of the situation and they have nothing to worry about. So, yeah, all right. If you guys don't have any questions, we will bid you adieu on this Wednesday. And before you rush around to do anything else, just take a couple of deep breaths. Next year we're going to have, I say next year already, like, oh my gosh, because it is.
I know, right?
I love that, though. I love this time of year. Someone's asking, the name of the organization helping military people is called FISH, Friends in
the Service of Heroes.
Friends in the Service of Heroes. Sounds awesome. I can't wait to look them up.
Out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri. That's great. So take time for yourselves. Be good to yourselves. By being good to yourself, you are so awesome, way more awesome to your dog. And let's face it, they are the very best for us. Even those that misbehave, I know we have a few of them out there, but nevertheless, we love them dearly and are grateful for them, as I am grateful for you guys. So I won't see you till after the new year. Have a very Merry Christmas. For those of you who celebrate Hanukkah, as I do, I hope you had a wonderful Hanukkah. And I do want to wish you, from all of us here at Dog is Good, a 2018 filled with lots of good health, much happiness, prosperity, and more stress-free time with your dogs. Take care.
Thank you. You're fantastic. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. It's ending. We're still on.
Are we?
Yeah. It just takes a second.
No worries.